So I wanted to give an update on how my hallux rigidus surgery recovery has been. I am 12 weeks post-surgery. Actually, yesterday was my 3-month mark following bilateral cheilectomy surgery. So this is an update on how I'm doing and an update on how active I've been able to be and how my recovery is going. So let me just go through a couple of things first. The first thing, healing wise, if you look at someone who had cheilectomy surgery, the incision is the biggest thing that you're looking at for healing. And so if you check out my incisions, so on my right foot, you can see there's the incision right there. We have a little bit of scar tissue still that's a little bit adhered. And this spot right here at the end was a little bit non-healing. I don't know if you can see that very well. But it's healing well now and it's not open anymore. I had a little dissolvable stitch that wasn't dissolving. So that's my right side. On my left side, I have a little bit of an open spot still because that is where a dissolvable stitch was and continued to kind of keep the inflammatory process going a little bit, not really infected, but it's just not healing as well. So that's one thing that I'm not too happy about still, but that should either work its way out or I'll go back into the surgeon and check out what we can do to get that piece out, whatever is keeping it from healing. So that's as far as the skin healing goes. As far as my motion and my activity, at about 4.5 weeks, I was biking. I went to St. George, Utah and did some biking. And that was really, really good. 4.5 weeks, I was biking well, had a great time. I started running at about 5.5 weeks and I was able to run okay. So the reason I could run when walking was still painful is running, I don't have to go up onto my big toe as much. If I'm walking fast, my foot goes further back and I have to kind of come back onto that toe and extend the toe. So faster walking, hiking, those are all more uncomfortable than actually running. And so running I was able to get into sooner. Biking, I had a rigid sole in my biking shoes, so my toe actually doesn't bend hardly at all when I'm biking, and so I could get back into mountain biking fairly quickly. And that helped me to be more active and just be healthier, and I think that helped in my healing as well. But I want to show you the range of motion that I have in my toes, because the purpose of the surgery, one is pain relief, and number two is to get more functional mobility out of my big toe joint. And so if we look at my left here, we're looking at not this joint. So you see this joint that can move back and forth. That joint is not the one I had surgery on. This joint is the one I had surgery on. And if I block and I don't move that joint, really the mobility of this one is just right there. So pretty limited still. And when I push into that, I feel pressure right in the joint right here. So this isn't really soft tissue that's limiting me. It's more some joint soreness and some joint hypomobility still. So in the past, my body got that extension range by extending this joint, but I want that joint to extend. So that's the left side. The right side, if we look at the right side, we've got similar motion, probably a little bit more motion on my right side than my left. This is the angle that we're looking at. And still I'm feeling that right in the joint. So this is something that I need to work more on to see if I can get that mobility from that joint. So mobility is improving, still not there. Activity level, I've been biking a lot. We've done some hikes. I've done some hikes on some steep terrain, and that was painful. The most pain I've had since surgery was ice skating with some rented skates. Getting out of those rental skates, because my toe had to extend as I was pulling my foot out, That was probably the most pain I had during the whole recovery process. So there's still things that are painful, but I'm optimistic that I don't have those bone spurs there. You can't even feel them on the top of the toe anymore. And I'm hoping to get a little more range of motion. So I'm going to start hitting the range of motion harder with some of my therapists here in the clinic and working on getting that functional mobility. So stay tuned and I'll give you an update as we get more active and more mobility. And hopefully if you're going through the same thing, this has been helpful. I really recommend getting as active as you can while still protecting the surgical repair and what was done in the surgery. Activity helps keep you healthy. Activity gives mobility in the soft tissues, and I think it'll be really beneficial. And connect with a good PT that can help you get range of motion. So until next time, thanks.